Analytical, critical, and maybe a bit cynical is what Mercury in Virgo may be all about. If you have Mercury in Virgo in your birth chart, the detail-oriented sense of being very oriented into the nitty-gritty aspects of life is very, very full on. And that comes with experience and learning to manage at the high road of what displacement really entails. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down what Mercury in Virgo means if you have this placement in the birth chart, if you were born during a time when Mercury was transiting the sign of Virgo. If you are a Leo, Virgo, or Libra, you might have Mercury in Virgo, as those are the three signs that contain Mercury in Virgo in the natal chart. Because Mercury is in either the sign before, or the sign after, or the sign the sun is in. And so Mercury is at home in Virgo. It's not necessarily exalted. I have read something which said it's exalted, but really, Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. That's the truth. That's the bottom line. Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. Uranus rules Aquarius, which is the higher mind, the higher octave of Mercury. Mercury is at home in domicile in Virgo. So I want to clarify that. So when you see Mercury exalted in Virgo, that is inaccurate. That is not correct. Um, that's not what it does. It's not exalted. It's a domicile. So I just want to make that loud and clear and clarify that for all of you. So delving into Mercury and Virgo. If you have this placement, your mind is very sharp. It's easily able to remember things, gather information, learn information, communicate that information out. It may be very easy for you to comprehend difficult patterns and problems that come about. I'm really digesting all those things very easily, very naturally. You may look at the world through a very realistic lens, through a very logical and rational sort of viewpoint. When you dream things, when you when you have dreams and visions, they are so that you can achieve them. They are so that you can do them. They are practical and feasible. You are very clear and decisive. That's your strong suit, is being very, very in point on the details that you're looking at. There's also knowing what I want, knowing how to get energy with this. That could be the case. Now, Virgo is a sign which, as a shadow, can be very perfectionistic, always seeking the flaws of everything and seeking improvement, of wanting to fix the cogs in the machine. Because Virgo is about breaking it together and fixing what's not working and improving what is inefficient to make it more efficient. That's Virgo energy. Your pursuit for perfectionism in all areas of life or various areas of life can not only be exhausting for you on the mental, spiritual, body level, which is it's important to ground yourself. It's important to meditate, go out in nature. Self-care is very, very important, not getting caught in the perfectionism of the, wanting to do, produce, produce, produce. Because we are human beings, we're not human doings. Um, and so, and also this can be exhausting for those around you. So when you critique a certain artwork or a certain dish or a certain work of literature, for instance, your criticism is very cutting edge. It's very direct. It's very sharp. It cuts right to the point. It gets right to the issue. You're very observant to make that criticism. But these critiques can come off as negative criticism to those people who are more of this highly sensitive type. So you do want to be natural to communicate the critique in the nicest way that you possibly can. Critique others with compassion, not out of harshness, not out of an ego need to be right, um, be better, be smarter, be more intelligent, and do it because it's just fun to critique and fun to hurt people. That's not that's not right. So we need to really back up and approach criticism with compassion, with sympathy for that person. So we want to forgive. It's very important to forgive yourself if you have any flaws, if you have any imperfections. Forgiving your flaws and others' flaws. Knowing that nobody's perfect. We're not designed to be perfect. We didn't land on Earth and get an instruction manual of how to live life. That manual is not provided to us. And we learn through experience. We learn through making a mess and then cleaning it up later. It Life is supposed to be imperfect. It's supposed to be messy, but it's perfectly imperfect. We live in a world that is perfectly imperfect, from money and finances to many other reasons that I don't want to get into here. So you speak and think in practical terms. That's really true. What's also true is that you have a great sense of wit. You don't get told often enough how humorous you really are. You can be of a dry humor, possibly of a sarcastic kind, but that could vary on certain other factors. But you have a very, very good sense of humor. Um, your brain is very strong and mighty, very analytical. You're very analytical. You are methodical and thorough with everything that you do, always checking the details, making sure it's the best that it can be, making sure it's done right, taking your time and getting all the details right, not moving on to something else until you have perfected and fully done what you could off of that other thing. That's Virgo energy. So you have a very strong sense of common sense with this placement. Very, very interesting. So you are curious yet discerning. You are curious, open to new information, yet you are discerning about what information you learn, you take in, what kinds of conversations that you have. Whenever you come across a book or an online article, you naturally ask, is this going to be a good use of my time? Is this going to provide the information that I need? This discerning um, the important information from the non-important information, the good sources from the bad sources, is a high road of Mercury and Virgo. That discerning quality, that um, discriminating quality can be a high road of displacement. Your mind is very active. You notice the details in your environment and strive for improvement. Your mind is very active. You may overthink things. And there's a certain way that define overthinking. It could be out of anxiety or it could be racking your brain too caught up. And when it comes to overthinking, when it comes to getting caught in your head, you're not letting your mind relax. That's what overthinking is you're caught up in trying to think something through and you're not just taking a breath and relaxing your brain. Where it can get you out of relaxation, it can get you out of the present moment. So being present, being here and now, living in 24 hours is very, very important for you. And getting out of overthinking, out of needing the facts to be right, of needing your anxiety to be healed, or whatever the reasoning is of why you are overthinking. So Mercury in Virgo, as I said before, is a domicile. It expresses itself most strongly in Virgo. So Mercury in Virgo is very, very good at making order out of chaos, really taking all the messy parts of life, all the very chaotic aspects of life, and creating a system, creating a structure, creating some type of order for that. You're very rational, you're very down to earth, you're very analytical. You can see through the chaos to the order. Finding patterns is something that you may be very good at. You memorize information in a logical kind of way. So that's very, very important for you. You have a very strong memory, very, very good memory. There is a need for you to understand how things work, how the machine works, how the computer works, how the printer works, etc. You can apply data to problem solving. And another thing is that you take your responsibilities very seriously. That's another high road here. Because Virgo is very, very much linked to your duties and responsibilities, and you are very serious about those endeavors. You prefer sensible, useful, and applicable over fantasy. So you prefer the useful, the functional, the efficient over the fantasy pipe dream version. So you can focus on reality, but don't get so caught up in reality. Look at the bigger picture. Look at the imagination. Look at the vision. That's Pisces. Opposite Virgo is the grand vision. As Virgo can get caught in all the details. You can be very skeptical. This can be a very, very good thing for you. You're very, very good at critical thinking also. Um, You prefer facts over emotions. That's something very, very important to know about you. You do what makes intellectual and logical sense to you. When it comes to gathering information, you do not do a half-assed job. You collect as much information about a topic as you can, put it together in a presentation or in an article, whatever you're doing with it. Your communication is very efficient. You want efficient communication. You also want to get to the point of the matter because you're very to the point, you're very direct, you're very straight to it. It's a very Mercury and Earth quality in general. So you choose your words very carefully for you speak. You say things very deliberately. Say things with the need to fix and change things, they need to improve, they need to be analytical. People go to you for advice. And you make a great listener to their stories and what they want advice on, and you give great practical advice, but do it in a way that's not critical but compassionate. You want to help, you want to help people and improve them to make them better than they are because you care about them. There's a genuine desire here, a genuine desire to help correct others, to help make right others, to want others to be better because you really see the potential in them. You really care for them. Um, you're all about self-improvement. You may be self-critical, very self-critical. You may turn into yourself on yourself. When you're young, you're probably pretty shy. You may get too bogged down in the details and struggle to see the bigger picture. That's the really, really big thing. Seeing the forest for the trees instead of getting caught in the nitty-gritty and that kind of thing going on. So you want to see the bigger goal. You want to take that look, from a much higher perspective and see the bigger vision, see the big task that has to get accomplished as opposed to the little detail-oriented tasks. You make a great planner for things, and you have a black backup plan and then another backup plan. You're very, very good at planning. Um, you keep a very clean and well organized environment. You're very, very good at that. You want to live a healthy lifestyle. It's very important. Your routines are very important to you and your health. Your physical, mental well-being is very important for you. You do well with subjects that involve logic and being very technical, such as math and science. You're very good at clarity and organization. You're good at handling business. You're prone to looking up at the clock to see how much time that you have because Virgo can be linked to, especially South Node in Virgo can be linked to that the perfect life being a ticking clock. And you're always very conscious of how much time you have and you're rushing, and finding the most efficient way to do things and getting it checked off your list um, that matches the clock. You may have an unmatched focus. You thrive at toying with the nuts and bolts of existence. You want order and consistency in your daily tasks. You really fail to meet any goal you set for yourself. When you make a commitment to yourself with somebody else, when you make an agreement, you stick to that agreement. You fulfill that agreement. You don't break that agreement. It's very good quality for you. You like to be useful. That's something very important for you. Um, you thrive in and strive to create function in your life. You're very detail oriented. You have a no nonsense attitude towards imperfections of any kind. You're very serious about self improvement. Um, you may be very critical of others. You may be disappointed in their performances, like it's not perfect, and you need to give others slack. Forgive others, allow space for that learning, for that imperfection, for those mistakes to happen, for that messy process of growth and evolution that has to come with life. Um, and so, again, the critiques you give will cut right to the point, and you'll be very attuned to the flaws of things. You're very attuned to the details. You make a good, wonderful critic. So, that is the energy and that is the information that I have on Mercury and Virgo in the birth chart. Um, Tune in for the next video, which is going to be either Mercury and Libra in the natal birth chart, or it's going to be the weekly astrology for the week of August 31st um, through September 6th. So either one of those videos. It all depends on natural factors when it comes to making these videos. So, either that Mercury and Libra video or the weekly video will be coming up probably tomorrow or in a couple of days from now. I don't know. But so I hope that you found value from this video. And if you did like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.